It's Christmas Day, 1984, 7 o'clock in the morning. Trafalgar has successfully broken contact with the second Victor 3 and has 5 torpedoes remaining in her tubes. Captain Cook's new orders, delivered via SATCOM, are to intercept a Soviet task force in the Norwegian Sea, reportedly armed with cruise missiles that are destined for NATO shipping targets. It's assumed that other NATO assets, including Royal Air Force Nimrods and any US Navy subs in the area, might be able to track down and sink the remaining Victor sub from their earlier encounter. Unless it changes direction, it's still headed towards the SOSUS net between the UK and the Faroe Islands, which means that hopefully its location can be pinpointed and the sub can be destroyed or forced to withdraw. As Trafalgar makes its way beneath the waves towards its new patrol location off the coast of Norway, the crew is finally allowed some moments of respite. The galley is hard at work on preparing the day's menu. They do 4 meals a day for about 130 people, and the chef's job is considered by many to be an incredibly important one because the food is one of the main sources of the crew's morale. For a lot of them, without sunlight or access to outside, meals are one of the few elements of life on board that provides a basic sense of what time of day it currently is. Usually, they do theme nights like Chinese or Indian, but since today is Christmas, the galley has prepared a full turkey dinner for the crew with the supplies available, and by all accounts, it's pretty good. Submariners in almost every navy traditionally get the best food and the best pay, presumably to make up for the rest of the job, and today is no exception. Meanwhile, in the officers' mess, the senior staff play their traditional weekly game of Risk. The captain is currently sitting on the most wins, and as usual is enthusiastically gathering up his green tokens. He's always taken a certain devilish glee in playing as Russia. Board games are very popular with submariners for obvious reasons, and this includes the Navy's traditional board game known as Uckers. Uckers is essentially very similar to Ludo, but with a few differences, and the rules for it change noticeably depending on which branch of the service you're in. It's been described by servicemen as being very addictive and a bit of a spectator sport, which, particularly on a submarine, is something of a winning combination. Later on in the evening, there's a bit of carol singing from the crew to keep spirits up, including a particularly haunting rendition of Silent Night, which, it has to be said, doesn't necessarily have quite the intended effect. Above the waves, the war rages on, but at least for this evening, within the tight confines of Her Majesty's submarine Trafalgar, some semblance of normality is allowed to reign. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Cold Waters, where we and HMS Trafalgar are currently in the Norwegian Sea with fresh orders and only 5 torpedoes left in our tubes to intercept a Soviet surface task force, I think. Let's have a look. Intelligence reports that an enemy surface task force is preparing to sail from Murmansk for a patrol in the vicinity of the Norwegian Sea. The warships are armed with long-range cruise missiles and could wreak havoc on vital NATO supply convoys. You are ordered to intercept and destroy this task force. No other friendly units are in a position to intercept the enemy in time. Patrol area Blue 47. Locate and sink capital ships. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Blue 47 is over here. Get over there, try and avoid enemy submarines and enemy anti-submarine warfare patrols, and try and intercept the surface task force and sink as much of it as we can. I was debating at the end of the previous episode whether or not to return to Faslane and rearm. If we do so, I think we will almost certainly miss the task force and it will be a mission failed. Alternatively, we can try and intercept this task force and have a go with our 5 Tigerfishes we've got left, as well as our Mark 8s, which we probably won't use anyway, but hey. And do our best. And I think I'm leaning towards let's try and do our best. We may fail. We may simply not get enough of the enemy task force sunk, or we may get detected and just have to leave. But an attempt, to me, seems like a better idea than not trying at all. So we're going to give it a go, even though the odds are very much not in our favour right now. So let's get over there, and we have to do it pretty quick, I think, because the enemy surface task force will move rather fast. So we'll hang around here. Those ones there, those are anti-submarine warfare patrols, I believe. The Surface Task Force moves a bit faster and has a different icon. I think actually it could be that. It doesn't look like it. It's kind of stopped. Alright, world events are happening. Norway is under attack. Warsaw-packed Army and Air Force units have moved into Norway in an attempted invasion. Paratrooper groups were dropped quickly at several smaller airfields, followed by the much-feared Soviet helicopter squadrons. At the same time, tank and infantry regiments crossed the border into Norway in a coordinated attack. The situation is still very unclear, but civilians around northern Norway have been immediately evacuated in accordance to pre-war made plans. And what analysts have dubbed a pitting of superior technology against superiority in numbers, neither NATO nor the Warsaw Pact can claim the upper hand yet. Dominance of the Atlantic still hangs in the balance as both sides have suffered losses during the past few days. So yeah, red icon up there. Oh dear, it didn't happen. Discouraged to hear you lost this opportunity against this important target. Better luck next time. Any presence in this area will likely hinder transatlantic convoys. New orders will be sent after reassessment of enemy capabilities and assumed intent. New orders coming on this downlink soon. Well, that's a shame, but what are you going to do? We can fail missions in this, and it doesn't, it doesn't necessarily cause us any huge problems. The way the campaign works is I think it's effectively behind the scenes a points-based system, so you have to reach a certain points threshold to finish the campaign, and every time you fail a mission your points go down, and if you succeed your points go up, so it didn't really show up as far as I can tell. We went to the assigned patrol area and they just didn't show up, so I feel a bit cheated, honestly. Unless it was that little group of ships that was hanging still and looked honestly a little bit glitched. But the Surface Task Group usually in this game has a different icon where it's like a big ship with lots of little ships around it. So maybe it was moving so fast that we just missed it entirely. We just didn't get there in time, perhaps. I don't know. Sounds like maybe that's what happened. Massive attack. Massive Soviet task force strikes in the Norwegian Sea have sunken undisclosed number of merchant vessels and escorting warships. NATO spokesmen admit this strike group poses a major threat to warshipping in the region, and that prior efforts to intercept it had failed. Yeah, I thought about engaging that little group of ships that are hovering next to us, actually, but we have so few torpedoes now that we can't afford to waste time engaging a group that isn't the mission objective, so that's kind of why I decided not to. Reports indicate that the continuous supply of materials across the Atlantic to Western Europe is pivotal to the war effort, and loss of materials and ships seriously undermines NATO's ability to maintain war operations. Yes, it's a shame. Oh boy. An enemy cruise missile submarine is transiting southward in the Norwegian Sea towards the North Atlantic convoy routes. You must sink it. This enemy sub is believed to be a nuclear-powered Oscar or Charlie class. It may have an SSN escort. Oh, I hope not. Primary objective patrol areas Green 12 and Green 14 between Iceland and the UK. Locate and sink the enemy cruise missile submarine. Okay, a Charlie submarine, a Charlie class wouldn't be too. I don't think would be too difficult for us to deal with. An Oscar would be some hard bloody work, I gotta say. Okay. Let's get back over here. Green 12 and Green 14. That's over here. Get back through the gap into the Atlantic. I don't suppose that's you down there, was it? Okay, we've hit him. We're doing 20 knots, so we're doing maximum speed on the campaign map to catch up, so... Status report. We have 4 Tigerfish in the tubes, 1 in reserve, and we have 2 Mosses, 1 in reserve, 1 in the tubes, and that's it. The Mark 8s are useless against submarines, so... Hells bells, here we go. We've got enough for maybe 1 spread and then a couple extras. It's not great. It's not great at all. All hands manned battle stations. Where did we approach from the campaign map? They were to our south, I think, weren't they?
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Rig for ultra quiet. As fast as possible. Alright, let's have a look. Conditions. Strong duct and a moderate layer. Where's the seafloor? It's at 553 meters. Oh, great. So I can't even go to my maximum depth. That's grand. Well, we can't hear a damn thing at the minute. Ah, yeah, we're in a shallow sort of pocket here. deep water's out this way and out towards this way. That's unfortunate. It's only going to get shallower as we go up this way too. I think we need to turn around first and foremost. Deploy the towed array. Head this way. Because I think we were approaching them from the north, which means that we don't necessarily have to care about this shallow water up here. I think we need to head south into the deeps, which suits me just fine, honestly. You can actually see the seabed down there from here. Just about make it out. Okay, time compression on. We're going to just coast very quietly down here and listen, and hopefully we'll hear something. If it's an enemy nuclear missile submarine, we'll probably, hopefully, hear it sooner or later. If it's an electric diesel sub we've run into, then we're going to have a tough time finding it, because those things are very quiet. Well, the newer ones are very quiet, like the Kilo class electric submarine that the Soviets have is ridiculously silent. Okay. The search begins, I suppose. I tell you what, let's go up to periscope depth. We'll do a little radar search for any surface vessels, and we'll listen above the layer as well in case the enemy sub is going quite shallow. That's what things look topside. What things look topside? What things look like topside?
Raise the radar mast.
Radar mast, let's go. Is there anybody there? Doesn't seem like it. Not a soul. We're quite close to land as well, so that surprises me if I'm honest, but alright.
Con, dive at 1-2, dive by.
Well. Yeah, folks, I guess I'll be searching around trying to find this bloody thing. I'll get back to you when I do. Right, well, I haven't been able to find anything. I've been floating around for a while down here, and we've got to the point now where apparently we're far enough away from the enemy that we can even leave combat. So wherever they are out there, I don't know where they've got to. Which is most irritating. There is a solution to this, of course. It's not a very good one. It's not one I like to use. But it's basically to go active on the sonar. I think I will briefly go active sonar. Hopefully the enemy will hear it, they'll realise there's another sub out here, and they'll turn around and come towards us. And hopefully, when they do that, we'll hear them first, because I won't keep going active, hopefully. So, one ping only, please.
Con sonar, switching to active search. Con sonar, switching to passive search. Come right to.
We'll see if we get anything.
Helm I.
I'll be right back, folks.
7-6, helm I.
Okay, well, I kept going for a while and didn't find anything, and then out of frustration I decided to just start pinging away on active sonar constantly. Eventually, we found 2 contacts. It immediately went silent. But they're out here somewhere, wherever they are. Don't know what they are, didn't have a chance to identify them, but they're this way, somewhere.
Come right to.
Let's see, how far away are you right now, matey? You're about 16, whoa, even more than that, like 32 kilometers away, so...
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
We're gonna... Oh, actually... Oh, damn it. Already damaged the tow array that quickly, huh? Oh well, no towed array for us. We're gonna have to fix that back in port. Back in port, we can't repair it. Alright, well, never mind. I'll try and make do without. We're gonna head this way, full speed.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
I'm gonna take us down as far as down will go. Current seafloor is at 1,000 meters. And maybe we'll catch up to them. I think I'll periodically stop, run silent, and then, listen for a while. But at the moment, they are ridiculously far away from us.
No longer cavitating.
There we go. We've passed down deep enough. We're not cavitating anymore. Good. Right. I'm going to run time compression, and we'll see if we find anything.
Sierra 2.
Alright. The bastards found us before we found them. Back emergency. Slow us down, slow us down, slow us down. Okay, right.
Make turns for
And
maneuvering out.
fire.
Control, we've lost the wire.
Lost the wire, that's fine.
Sonar lost contact. Sierra 2. Last bearing 358. Contact faded. Come right to 0.
I'm going to fire a decoy in their direction.
Shoot 25. Aye, sir.
And we're going to move.
Make turns for 3, 2, knots. Maneuvering out.
Cheeky devils. Yep, I don't know how they pulled that off, but yeah, they found me before I found them. I think they caught me. I was doing sort of bursts of speed and then slow down and listen for a while, and then speed up and then listen for a while. And I think they caught me just in the middle of one of my speedy sprints forward, because I assumed that perhaps they might still be going away from me. Turns out they weren't. But we're going to move it right now. Yeah, they're pinging away on active now. I'm going to... Can we hear anything right now? Regain contact on them, yeah, now because they're pinging, that is. See if I can try and identify them a bit through the noise here. There's 2 subs out there as far as I can make out. I reckon maybe one of them is the missile sub we're after, and the other one is the escort. Yankee SSBN. Could be that, actually. I'm not sure, though.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Let's slow down for just a moment and listen.
Sierra 2
I'd really like to identify this guy.
Submerged submarine.
Come on, what are you? A kilo? Might explain why we weren't able to hear the bastards. A tango. I think it's a tango. I think they're diesels. Yeah, that'll be why they were so damn quiet.
Is come right to 259 helm
Oh
I.
boy, that thing is like perfectly nailing us right now. That's not good. Let's reload a decoy. I don't have any left, apparently. What's going on there? Right, it just exploded.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Hello, Mr. Tango.
Con maneuvering. Making
What
turns
happened to
for
all my
5
decoys? I've only fired one. Whatever. That's our one and only decoy gone, apparently. I thought I had 2 of them. He's moving that way. So a tango looks like this. It's quite an old sub, actually. He is, however, retrofitted with US-80 torpedoes. He's very quiet, 120 decibels, has anechoic coating, max depth of 300 meters though, he can't go very deep, and because he's a diesel electric, he's very slow. He can only go a maximum of 15 knots underwater, 13 on the surface.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
So it's a little diesel electric that's harassing us at the moment, which makes me think that his mate probably isn't
Sierra 2.
the cruise missile sub we're after. Counter-launching, and if I... Yep, he's counter-launching at
Come right to
the decoy, which is what I thought he'd do. I wonder if this tigerfish of ours is going to acquire the tango. Probably not. We fired from quite deep.
Make depth
What depth is he at?
30,
He's very
0,
shallow
dive
at the
I.
moment. Wow, okay.
Make depth 1, 0, 0, dive I.
Come right to 356 helm I.
Alright, we're going to come up now.
Con,
Oh,
torpedo
what's
room,
it doing?
tube 5
Has it
ready.
changed direction towards me, or is it just going into a search pattern? It looks like it's just going into a search pattern. Okay.
Con sonar launch transient.
Another
from
launch.
Sierra 2. Con,
Again towards
helm,
the decoy.
steady course.
And yeah, we're already losing him because he's a diesel sub and he is ridiculously quiet.
Con sonar regained contact.
And
on
we're being flanked by
Sierra
something
1,
else.
Bearing 26.
What are you? A Golf? Really? No, that's not a Golf. Close, but no cigar. It is Foxtrot, I think.
Con sonar.
Yeah,
Sierra
classified as a
1
Foxtrot.
is classified
The
as
Foxtrot
emergency
is
submarine.
dreadful. It's a boat from the 50s, yeah, built from 57 to 1971. Yes, they are also a diesel electric, 16 knots, max depth 300. And it, unlike the Tango, has not been retrofitted with better torpedo tubes. So it has, in terms of, I think the only anti-sub torpedo it has is the Set 65, which I mean, it's even worse than the Tigerfish, and that's saying something. 35 knots max speed, 500 meters seeker range, so it's blind as a bat. Max depth of 400 meters. I don't want to underestimate it, but at the same time, I'm not terribly worried about that Foxtrot right now. I'm more worried about the Tango.
Come right to 0, 1.
I really wish I had my towed array working right now. Okay, our Tigerfish is just going off into the wild blue yonder right now. It has no idea where this Tango is. And to be honest, we only have a vague idea of where he is ourselves. We know he's at about this depth. And being flanked like this it's not a great position to be in, I've got to say. Actually, I'm not a fan of what's going on right now. Neither of them are banging away on active sonar right now. The Tango, on the other hand, he's still at 9 passive right now, which means he might know where we are, but he also might not. It's difficult to say.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Let's rig for ultra quiet, and let's just coast a bit longer. See what happens. See if we can get a better solution on either of these guys.
Come left to 337, helm I.
Building a solution on the Tango and the Foxtrot right now. Come on, come on, come on. I need to know where these guys are. Alright, that's good enough for me. Alright, little Tigerfish. This guy's slower than you are. Hopefully you'll get him.
Con fire control. We've lost the
Yeah, I
wire.
thought we might lose the wire.
Come right.
These guys don't have towed arrays, so in theory we'd be able to sneak up behind them. The problem is, they're both going in opposite directions at the moment, which kind of ruins the plan somewhat. Go, go, go. Down, down, down.
Make depth 600. Dive I.
If we're lucky, that Tigerfish will acquire him almost straight away. But we're not going to wait around to find
Con
out.
sonar lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 2, 3, 4. Contact is in the baffles.
What I can tell you is this isn't our mission objective, so we're going to be combat ineffective by the time this is done.
No longer cavitating.
He's already dropping noisemakers, which means he's not in he's not having fun. In fact, the torpedo's going straight. It's not doing its search pattern, which means it's got him. I don't think that Tango will be able to evade the Tigerfish for very long. He's too slow. They'll come right a bit here, because we lost the Foxtrot on baffles when we made that turn. I'd like to reacquire the bastard. Yeah, he's pinging away on active sonar. We've lost the Tango in our baffles now. Again, I'm going to make another turn to try and reacquire. Not that we really need to know where the Tango is right now, because our torpedo knows instead. Accidentally went time compression there. Didn't want to. And the Tigerfish got him. Yeah. If there's one thing the Tigerfish can do, it is hunt diesels. It does that quite well. Okay, yeah, now the Foxtrot's launching at us. We're going to keep going full pelt. The biggest advantage we have right now is the fact that we are crazy fast compared to these guys.
Con, helm, steady course. Come left to
I'm actually going to go change direction, because I think he probably, if he knows where we are, he probably fired this way. So I'm going to change direction. Because that's, if I was hunting an enemy, changing direction like this is the last thing I'd want him to do, so...
Con, helm, steady course. Con, sonar,
It's also entirely possible that he fired a spread at us, though. That was Soviet doctrine for these old subs. They had... These things were built with like a ton of torpedo tubes in the front, and their doctrine was basically just to fire loads and loads and loads of torpedoes at the Americans and hope something would acquire. And that's pretty much what he's doing with us right now. he's down at about 180 meters, something like that, maybe 160. We're still down at 600. We're down at 600. His torpedoes cannot get us. This guy
Rig shift for ultra quiet.
has absolutely no means of attacking us whatsoever right now. Unless I'm very much mistaken. Let's check the data again, just to be sure. Set 65 torpedoes. Max depth 400 meters. Yep. The 5365s are wake-homing torpedoes for using against surface ships, and the SATE 60Ms are anti-shipping torpedoes. Yeah, they're acoustic homing ones. No use against submarines whatsoever. So we can sit here and watch this guy blow raspberries at him for all we care, and he can't get us. Unless I have made a dreadful miscalculation and the stats in the book here are wrong. There's nothing he can do. Absolutely nothing.
Come left to 179.
Means we can pretty much just try and take him out at our leisure. The problem is that we need to come up to his level to really stand a chance of firing and getting a good lock on him with a torpedo. Because I cannot rely on a tigerfish keeping its wire and therefore allowing me to manually raise the depth of the tigerfish. Because ideally, if you had wired torpedoes that are actually reliable, that's what you'd do. You'd fire from deep, and then you'd maneuver the torpedo up to get him, and we'd stay down safe where we are here. Unfortunately, with the tigerfish, we have to assume that the wire will break immediately on launch. So, and the seeker cone, I'm not confident it would acquire him if we fired it out down here and it just poodled along like that. So, then again, I'm not totally clear on what the behavior of the tigerfish is once it goes active. Once it goes active, I don't know if it stays at the current depth it's at if you leave it with this setting here. Or if it actually goes up to a sort of middle depth. Because it has a deep setting, which presumably tells it to go lower once it activates. But I don't know exactly, and then the top setting is for anti-ship mode, basically. I don't know what it does on this medium mode, for sure. But you can see he's firing plenty of torps at us, but they won't be able to get us.
Come right
I don't know if they'll even acquire us, quite frankly. Oh, that one just detonated. I don't know why, actually. That seems like an awfully short distance for it to detonate. I think it's probably because it was... it probably acquired us, tried to come down to get us, and then exploded once it got to crush depth. There's the Romeo. Sorry, the Foxtrot, not the Romeo. That's the Foxtrot. It is an old-looking sub. It's a nice-looking sub, actually, in its own way, but it is an old sub. It's green underbelly.
Helm, steady course.
You can tell it's old because it has that sort of World War II submarine kind of vibe about it still. Unlike ours. If we get a camera on this torpedo, I want to see what it does. It's not active yet. Neither is the one behind it. It's gone active. And it looks like it's going in a circular search pattern, I think. Yeah. So these are extremely basic, non-wire guided acoustic homing torpedoes. Yeah, and the seeker cone on them is 500 meters. So basically anything within this little circle around it. Not quite, well, a cone in front of it. Of about this distance. We're actually within that cone right now, but we're deep enough that we're outside of it. That's the other problem with having only a 500 meter center cone, is that your vertical distance you can detect things at is also very limited. So you'll see this one right here looks like it's probably it's acquired us. It's coming down. It's right above us, but it's going to go bang. Can't go deep enough. That was squeaky bum time there for a moment. I was sitting there thinking, have I made a colossal error here? Am I about to regret this? But no, yeah. The book is correct. And, we are too deep for this guy to be able to touch us right now. Bet he wishes he had some depth charges or something. Because we're a nuclear sub, we don't have to come up for air either. We can stay down here as long as we like. In fact, he's turned around. He's decided, right, screw this. I can't get this guy, and he's not coming up. I need to get out of here.
229, helm I.
All right. So I tell you what we're going to do, folks. We're going to follow him. How fast is he going right now? 12 knots.
Make turns for 1.
Yeah, let's make turns for 10 knots. Let's follow him.
Con sonar, launch transient from
He's launching
0,
again.
1.
This is the marvelous thing about the Trafalgar submarine. It's the depth. Bang. Yeah.
Con sonar, launch
He's
transient
launching
from
again.
0,
There's nothing
1.
he can do right now.
Con helm, steady course. Come left to 242.
I'm just going to maneuver around him at leisure. Actually, it would be nice to try and get into his baffles. Let him lose us completely. I'm going to go right under him, in fact.
7, helm I.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
He's up there somewhere. I've lost sight of him on the map, so we can't see him in 3D, but he's up there above us right now. Pretty much.
Regained contact
There he is.
on Sierra
Where is he?
1, bearing 207.
I've got a very good solution on him right now.
Come left to 189, helm I.
Anyway, yes, we're basically bullying this poor Foxtrot. But you know what, guys? It's nice that the shoe is on the other foot for once. It's worth noting, though, I don't think you could get away with this in an American submarine. I think most of them have a maximum depth of about 400 meters, so if we were in a US Navy sub right now, we would be having an interesting time. Well, this is also kind of an interesting time, really, but they'd be having a far more frantic, panicky one. Alright, we're in his baffles right now, although he's still turning, so not for long.
Come left to 127.
This thing's seeker range, we're well outside of it. Let's see if we can come up to 300. Quickly launch one at him. And then scoot back down. I wish we could visibly see him out there somewhere. He's out there. He's pinging at us. Can't see him yet, though.
Con sonar, launch transient from
Launch
Sierra
transient.
1.
Okay, back down.
Make depth.
Full speed.
Make turns for 3, 2, 9.
Oh yeah, there you can see it coming at us. And there he is. There he is. Okay, we're actually good now.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
We're actually fine. What's our speed? 12 knots? Let's just do this. And we actually kept the wire. Hallelujah. This might actually work then, in that case.
Launch transient from Sierra 1.
Could go active straight away, and I think it's... No, it hasn't quite got him yet. Alright, up you come, little torpedo.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing.
Up you go, little tigerfish. I think it's already acquired him, actually. Or not. No, I think it acquired the noisemaker, but not him. It's climbing, and he's diving. Alright, come on, come on, come on. Get the bugger. Come on, tigerfish, he's right there. Surely you can see him. Do I have to guide you right onto him? You've just sailed right under him, haven't you? That's what you've done. Would not acquire. That is extremely annoying. Right. I need to be careful now that I don't accidentally acquire our own sub. Wouldn't be a problem. I could manually guide the torpedo away, but only so long as the wire doesn't randomly snap, which can happen sometimes. So it's best not to risk it.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing.
Alright, we're countermeasure homing right now. We briefly acquired him.
Fire control. Weapon acquired.
Okay, now it's acquired the sub. Let's go torpedo cam. Let's see this. Is he going to dodge it? I wouldn't put it past a diesel sub to manage to dodge a tigerfish. It's happened before. Yeah.
Sonar lost contact.
Okay, he nearly got away from us then, but I think the magnetic detonator in the torpedo finally went off. I don't know if like magnetic detonators in this game are modeled accurately or not, but sometimes it almost gives the impression that the magnetic detonators in the tigerfish like don't work 90% of the time. That time it did. It was just going up over him, but then it went kaboom anyway. There he goes. Look, you can see the big oil slick on the surface. He was probably at below escape depth, poor fella. Wouldn't want to be on that boat right now. Oh boy. Okay, we're gonna just carry on pootling on out of here, nice and deep.
Come right to.
Till we get out of range any potential torpedoes that could posthumously give this guy a kill. Let's just go maximum speed. If there were any other subs out here, we'd know about it by now, I think. There we go, we got him, the Tango and the Foxtrot. Oh look, you can see the torpedo going off in that direction. Can I get a view of the Foxtrot? I mean, the Tango on the seafloor? Yeah, there he is. That's the Tango. Similar design, just a lot uglier. Got a big bulbous kind of nose on the front of it. I think it's probably meant to accommodate more torpedo tubes. It is the more dangerous of the two subs, though, the Tango. Thankfully, neither of them was a Kilo, because Kilos can really give you some trouble. They are... I think I can find them in the book here. The Kilo, there it is, yeah. Let's have a look at the description. The latest and most advanced diesel-electric submarine built by the Soviets. Compared to earlier designs, the Kilo has adopted the albacore hull form, which makes it much faster underwater. It is also much quieter and carries weapons and sensors on par with the third-generation nuclear attack submarines like the Victor III. So yeah, I don't think it has a deployable towed array, but its passive sonar and active sonar are equivalent to a Victor III. It'll do 17 knots underwater, which is pretty fast for a diesel-electric sub. But the main thing is that it's 110 decibels. I don't think there's a quieter sub in the entire game, except for maybe the USS Narwhal. I think that's it. These things are so difficult to find. They usually find you before you find them. It would be very interesting to do a campaign as one day, in a Kilo, because... they're so stealthy, but at the same time, if the enemy does acquire you, you're going to have a devil of a time evading torpedoes because you are still very slow. But yeah, it's be interesting. He's got the USS 80 torpedoes, which are pretty decent. They are the wire-guided torpedoes, which have optional wake homing as well. And the wake homing thing was like a thing unique to the Soviets, actually. It was a mode on some of their torpedoes for tracking enemy surface ships, and what you do is you would aim to try and fire the torpedo behind the target where it would cross the wake of the ship. It would then detect the wake somehow, I don't know how, and then it would turn to follow the wake until it eventually, sailed right up under the ship and exploded. And for whatever reason, only the Soviets actually embraced that technology. The Western Allies did not. I don't know why. That's a subject I would almost like to go and look up. I've read a couple of books on the subject of Cold War nuclear subs, and that never came up for some reason. I don't know why. But it's interesting. Because I think it was tech that was invented by the Germans in World War II, actually. I think the Germans, towards the end of the war in 44 or 45, they had wake-homing torpedoes. I think. I don't know, though. Anyway, ladies and gents, we're going to get out of here. Leave combat, and we're going to go straight back to base. We didn't find the subs that we were after, unfortunately. But we don't have an option now. We have to go home and rearm, basically. As your ship slides into port, you look at the frantic activity on the docks. You ponder upon the outcome of your patrol, the good sides and the bad. What will next time be like? Okay, it is the 28th of December. We want to rearm and repair. I am going to admit defeat on these Mark 8s. I'm never going to end up using them. I will carry one. I will carry a single Mark 8 in case we run into something that we can actually kill with it. But for the rest of it, I'm going to take 3 Moss decoys, and the rest is going to be tigerfish, because my god, do we need as many as we can get our hands on. We'll reload this last tube with a moss. And once again, I'm going to pretty much just ignore the harpoons until someone can convince me they're a good idea. Repairs needed as well. Yeah, we need to repair the towed array. That'll take 7 hours, apparently. And... right, cast off anchors away. I imagine by this point the target submarines have probably gotten well off. That's probably... either of them could be the subs we're after, actually. I'm going to save the game here. And it's probably going to be a fish and mailed, I think. So that'll be 2 fails in a row, which makes me a bit sad. But it's a long campaign yet to go. So we'll see how we can do. In the meantime, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. Slightly shorter episode than usual, this one. But I guess it makes up for the extra long first episode. And I really need to go because I have a live stream to do in 15 minutes. So... I'd love to stick around longer, but I can't, I'm afraid. Thanks very much, everybody. I'll catch you next time.